Okay, so this is the case that I got. Pretty much what I was expecting, to be fair. And a nice beige, kind of matches my new nails. Okay, so these are my new headphones. I got them in pink because I'm a pink gal. So the reason I got these nude headphones, funny enough, I'm wearing my overwhelmed and overstimulated t-shirt, is because I really like the privacy headphones give you compared to earphones. It's just kind of a polite way to kind of say to the world, I'm not really in the mood to be approached right now. Because it's like over your ears, it's a lot more immersive, so when I'm reading I can listen to my music and just feel more in it. I listen to, it kind of depends what I'm reading, but I do have 2 playlists that I mostly listen to that I made. Sometimes I'll listen to like ambient music as well, or again, it depends what I'm reading at the time. I don't listen to lyrical music because I just can't. I can't read and then have people singing in my ears. It just doesn't work. This feels really nice, this fabric. I might actually keep this. But obviously well packaged, I must say. Maybe too well packaged. How do I get this out? Oh, here we go. Info booklet, and then obviously we've got the charger as well, which again, how do I get this out? Oh, so they don't have, obviously, so we can either plug them in and then this is the charger. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. They're so pretty. I don't think the camera is picking up the pinkness of them. They look quite pale on what I'm seeing, but they look very, very pink in a good way. I like it. These bits are so spongy. They feel good. Now I just need to charge them and actually make sure they work okay, but initial impressions, I'm quite happy. So these are the Soundcore by Anchor Pure Bass No Noise Q20i. So I guess I just need to try these bad boys out and see what they're like. But first impressions, when it comes to material and things, I'm pretty happy with them. Yeah, they fit in there perfectly, and then I can keep the charger and the info in the little slip that it has in there. Okay, I am pretty happy. I say that, I haven't tried them yet, so hopefully they are going to actually work okay. But I'm really happy with how they were packaged. Oh, I'm excited to use these.
Hello, my lovelies. So
I have got some reading updates for you. The first reading update is I have finished The Hurricane Wars. I feel like I need to properly sit down and process my thoughts and feelings on that book, but the overall arc is I loved it, and the little spark that I've been looking for, it's coming back. I can feel it, and that book was definitely a big part of that. I've rated it 4.25 out of 5 stars. I had so much fun, but I am a little bit crunched on time. So, more thoughts and feelings regarding the Hurricane Wars a little later on. What I really wanted to show you. Now, listen, am I on a book buying ban? Possibly. But my dear friends Shan and Max came from Bath to visit me, and we had this fun idea to go to Waterstones and pick out a book for each other. It was just a fun, giggly time. I walked away with 3 books, okay? I was supposed to walk away with just 2. I walked away with 3. It is what it is. But in my defense, 2 of the books are on my autumn wishlist TBR. And then the other book was what my friend suggested / picked out for me. So how could I not get it? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to show you what they are. So the first book I picked out for myself, this is a book that I am so intrigued by, and I really, really want to read it. I've heard kind of mixed things about it, but I'm still so intrigued by it, and that is Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill. Firstly, I mean, I am obsessed with the cover. I think the cover is absolutely stunning. If I'm remembering correctly, yes, this is a debut novel. T. Kingfisher says a charmingly monstrous debut. Intrigue. And if I am remembering correctly, yeah, so this is based on Jenny Greenteeth, which I believe is a Celtic mythological woman. Beneath the still surface of a lake lurks a monster with needle-sharp teeth, hungry and ready to pounce. Her name is Jenny Greenteeth, and she's never spoken to a human before. But when a witch is thrown into her lake by an angry mob, something makes Jenny decide she's worth saving. The witch doesn't know why the village has turned against her, but it has something to do with the malevolent new pastor. Though they have nothing in common, these 2 unlikely companions must band together on a magical quest to defeat an evil that threatens the very soul of Britain. Something I really want to get into more is British mythology, Celtic mythology. I'm a sucker for mythology, and it kind of just seems a bit wrong that I have very little knowledge of the mythology and tales and stories of my homeland. When I kind of discovered this book, it just called out to me, and I just saw it in Waterstones. It's on my autumn TBR wish list. I just went, screw it, I'm gonna do it. So I picked this bad boy up. I'm really, really excited to read this book. Okay, so this next book was picked out by my friend Max, and luckily this book is also on my autumn TBR wish list. So he did a fabulous job, and that is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I have seen this everywhere at the minute. People seem to be really loving it, and it's giving them mystical, magical vibes. I'm going to be honest, I don't actually know too much about this book. A faraway island, a secret spell shop, an unexpected romance. Yes. Keela? I'm going to go with Keela. Keela has always had trouble dealing with people. Same. Thankfully, as librarian at the Great Library of Elysium, she hasn't had to. She and her assistant Kaz, a sentient spider plant, love that, have spent the last 11 years sequestered among the Empire's precious spellbooks. But when the library goes up in flames, Keela and Kaz have to flee to a remote island she never thought she'd see again, her childhood home. To Keela's dismay, she finds the Empire has been draining power from the island, with the help of an old spellbook and a nosy, if very handsome neighbour. Keela is determined to make things right, but as she starts to make a place for herself, she realises she must break down the walls she has kept so high. This sounds like a cozy fantasy, and I'm all about it. I am aiming to have a cozy hobbit girl autumn, and this sounds like the exact book that's going to help me live that life. Oh, the cover is stunning. There's a puss cat with wings. Look, just there. And then this final book, my friend Shan picked out for me, and I am intrigued, to say the least. It's not something I would have picked out for myself, for sure, which was part of the fun of doing this with them, but she picked out this, which is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. The people suffer under the centuries-long rule of the Moon Throne. The royal family, the despotic emperor and his monstrous sons, the Three Terrors, hold the countryside in their choking grip. They bleed the land and oppress the citizens with the frightful powers they inherited from the god locked under their palace. But that god cannot be contained forever. With the aid of Jun, a guard broken by his guilt-stricken past, and Kima, an outcast fighting for his future, the god escapes from her royal captivity and flees from her own children, the triplet terrors who would drag her back to her unholy prison. And so it is that she embarks with her young companions on a 5-day pilgrimage in search of freedom and a way to end the Moon Throne forever. The journey ahead will be more dangerous than any of them could have imagined. This sounds really, really good. The cover is gorgeous. I think that's what initially drew my friend into it. And then she read the back, and she also bought herself a copy of this as well. But yeah, I'm excited because this is something I wouldn't have picked up for myself. And I am certainly intrigued. Of course, there's a map. Okay, this is really cute. The dedication. This one's for me. This is relatively new. This was published in 2024. This is a cool map. This is a map, right? That is gorgeous. Ooh, it starts off in second person. It says, before you arrive, you remember your Lola smoking. You remember the smell of her dried tobacco, like hay after a storm, the soft crinkle of the rolling paper, the zip of the matchstick, which she'd sometimes strike against the lizard rough skin of her leg to impress you. Okay. Those are the 3 books that I've recently picked up. I am back on the book buying ban. I will not be purchasing any more books this month for sure. But moving on, my TBR cart is just behind me. Because I finished the Hurricane Wars, I now need to pick my next read, and I know what book I want to read. I think it's time I give Emily Henry another go, and I'm going to go with Funny Story. I really want to read this before the summer ends, and in the UK we are having another heat wave, so the timing is kind of perfect. And because I've just read a fantasy, I think it's a good idea to kind of break up fantasies and romances and things just to keep me on my toes a little bit. I've heard great things about this book. I wasn't a massive lover of Book Lovers, which is the only other Emily Henry that I've read, but I did still enjoy it. So I'm hoping this is gonna be a little bit better. I believe we've got a fake dating trope in this. I've read the back of this so many times in previous vlogs, and I also feel like I'm very late to reading this book. We are following Daphne, was she engaged to him? Were they engaged? But basically her now ex, hang on, how is it? So she moves in with her ex's new partner's ex. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. It's her ex-fiance. There's no way Daphne would start her new chapter by falling in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex, right? Okay, so this is going to be my next read. That was my mini book haul. I can't lie, that the heat is frazzling me a little bit, and I don't really know what vibe this vlog is, if I'm going to be honest, because I've unboxed my headphones and did a little haul, and I haven't really filmed a lot of me reading. So I don't really know what this vlog is going to be, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I need to start getting ready to leave for work. So I will see you in the next clip. Hello my lovelies. So as promised, I am here to give you a reading update because I said that I finished the Hurricane Wars and you saw me start Funny Story. I gave you 0 updates and I have now finished it. So I need to give you some serious updates, but let's start with The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Guanzon, but I rated this 4.25 stars. I had such a good time with this book. It was exactly what I needed to get me back into fantasy, and I think I touched upon the fact that I have really missed the kind of fantasy itch that I used to get. That feeling of getting just sucked in to a completely different world with a completely unique magic system and complex deep characters with depth. Yes, this was, to my knowledge, inspired by Raylo fan fiction, and you definitely can see that inspiration in the book, but the author has done a fabulous job of bringing her own uniqueness to the characters and to the story. It's not even that I would forget that this was Kylo Ren and Rey like inspired. If anything, I actually think that added to the experience for me. I thoroughly enjoyed being able to have that visual comparison in my head already to these characters, but then as the book went on, I very quickly separated our FMC from Rey and our MMC from Kylo Ren. Like, these two characters are their own characters with their own backstories, with their own lives and developments. And yes, there are similarities. I enjoyed the familiarity of it. I am a huge Star Wars fan. I was raised on Star Wars, and The Force Awakens, this is such a controversial, I think, opinion, but The Force Awakens is my favourite movie out of all the Star Wars movies because I was able to experience it for the first time when it was released, whereas the prequels and the original trilogy were released before I was born, or like when were the prequels released? I'm a 99 baby. I'm gonna have to double check when the prequels were released, but basically The Force Awakens was when I was able to experience something for the first time with the whole Star Wars fandom. I have such a deep love for Star Wars, so having that familiarity within this book to Star Wars just felt so comforting to me, especially with the fact that it was around two characters that I love dearly. I loved the world that Thea Guanzon, again, I'm going to say Thea, that Thea has created. I really love the magic system that she's created as well. The fact that it's they have like nexus points. Oh my gosh, hang on, does it say at the front? Aether. So there's the Aether, which is what the magic system basically is. Like, magic is called Aether, and you can be an Aethermancer, and there are different, I guess, elements of the Aether. So you have you can be a fire dancer, so it's fire, a rain singer, water. You can kind of gather where it goes from here. But then you have the Shadow Forged, which is what our main man Alaric is, and then we discover, this isn't a spoiler, I don't think. We find this out pretty much straight away, like instantly. This isn't a spoiler. But then our main FMC Taliesin, she is a light weaver. Literally light and dark. The tropes in this book, the enemies to lovers, the forced marriage, the forced proximity, the marriage of convenience. I think it was done so well. And I really liked the pacing of this book. I just thought everything was thought out and executed brilliantly. I really, really connected to our characters. There wasn't a character that I didn't like. I loved this book. I'm even tempted to bump this up. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm tempted oh my god, I can't speak. I'm tempted to bump it up to a 4.5 because I just loved it. The political intrigue was brilliant as well. This is something that I've discovered that I need in a fantasy. Like, I don't think I'm a romantasy gal. I need plot, I need political drama, and this book is chocked with it. But the romance is also so strong and such a pivotal part of the plot, and it's just, oh, I ate it up. I ate this book up. I didn't want to put it down, and it was the first time in a while that when I wasn't reading, all I was thinking about was wanting to read this book and missing the characters and missing the world. I haven't had that. I feel like I haven't had that in so long, and it felt like such a breath of fresh air to experience that again. And it felt good to know that I can experience that again. So I am eagerly awaiting. I know the sequel is already out, but I'm just waiting for the paperback, which I think comes out in September or November, one of the two. I'm so excited because the way this book ended. Oh my gosh, it ended so good. Oh, I'm so excited. If you're a fantasy reader, even if you don't have any knowledge of Star Wars, like, you don't need knowledge of Star Wars to read this book, obviously, but like, just if you're a fantasy reader and you haven't read this book, please read it. I loved it. It was so good. I had such a good time. Now I'm talking about it, I'm going to bump it up to 4.5 stars because it filled a hole in me, and it felt so good. So, like I said, and as you know, I then went on to read Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is my second Emily Henry book that I've read, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed this quite a considerable amount. Can see why people love Emily Henry's writing. She writes beautifully, and there are some sentences that she writes that really does take the wind out of you. I enjoyed this book a lot more than Book Lovers, which was the other Emily Henry that I've read. I related to our main character Daphne a lot. There's a lot that I could see myself in her with, and I loved our MMC Miles. Emily Henry highlights the theme of toxic positivity, and I think she does that very well through Miles. Not in a bad sense, as in like Miles is a bad person, like that's not, he's the MMC, but it's how things in your life can impact you, and you think that maybe the only way to move forward or the only way to go on is to kind of pretend it hasn't affected you. And that's not always a good thing. We need to feel our feelings, you know? And I thought that was an element that I really enjoyed, especially through Miles's character. There was something in here that kind of bugged me a little bit, and Emily Henry kind of drops the dyslexia bomb with Miles. So our main character, Daphne, is a librarian. She works in a library and she loves reading. She's a book lover. And there's obviously a conversation about her love of reading with Miles. And she's like, I'm assuming you don't read. And he's like, dyslexic babes, can't do it. And don't get me wrong, like I love the want to represent dyslexia as a dyslexic person. It's very much appreciated, but I feel like it would have been nicer, like if that's something you want to bring awareness to, maybe do it in a much more thought out way. So instead of literally just telling us that he's dyslexic and then not really doing anything with that, like maybe have a scene where he's trying to read one of her favorite books but is really struggling because he's dyslexic, and that could be one of the tools where they get to know each other a bit more. She could even kind of recommend books that she thinks he would enjoy, being someone who's dyslexic and things. Like, I don't know, I feel like if you're going to represent a disability of any kind, you know, I think you need to do it gracefully. And I'm not trying to be like bashful or anything, I just kind of wish it was handled with a bit more thought, rather than it just felt like it was just a bit of a character quirk for Miles to have, and that did irk me. But apart from that, I don't really have anything negative to say. It's not a 5-star because I didn't really get 5-star feels. It was just a enjoyable, fun rom-com. I loved the ending. It ended just perfectly. The personal character development. I know Emily Henry is very good at writing character growth and both of our characters most certainly grow within this book, especially our FMC Daphne. She goes through so much self-discovery in this book, and again, I felt very reflected by her character. I felt very seen, and I could definitely see me picking this book up. The romance was spot on. Don't have a fault to say about the romance between our two characters. I loved it. I loved how it developed. I loved the comedic way of how it basically started. This felt like watching one of my favourite rom-com movies. Like, think The Proposal. That's my favourite rom-com of all time, and it just felt like I was reading a version, like that kind of vibe, that kind of energy. Think The Proposal, The Ugly Truth, those kind of vibes. If you enjoy those movies, you would really enjoy this book. Those are the two books I have recently read. I actually don't know how long this vlog currently is, but I already know what book I want to read next, but it's not here, it is at my mum's. If you saw my most recent post, I basically said that I wasn't able to be at my mum's because unfortunately some of Ben's family had COVID, and because I'd been in contact with them, I didn't want to chance bringing that to my mum. But it's been over a week, everybody's testing negative, we are all good. So that means I get to go see my mumsy, I get to see my pussycats, and I'm able to start editing, and I'm able to be with my TBR cart. This bookshelf here is also technically a TBR bookshelf, because this has books that I either want to reread or haven't read yet, but they're not on my immediate TBR. The only one that is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, but that's not what I want to read next. Because I just finished a romance, I want to jump genres and I want to jump back to a fantasy, but I know what one I want to read, and I thought I would pick it with you guys. So I am now going to pop my shoes on, get my act together, and head over to my mum's. I'm so excited. I haven't been to my mum's all week, so I'm looking forward to being back there this week. Yeah, let's just, I guess, pop on over and pick our next book together. Okay, my lovelies, I am now at my mum's, and that means I've got my microphone back. Stunning. Before we get on to my next read, I wanted to show you. So my friend Max, he's the cutest ever. He sent me some new D&D dice for my new character that I'm going to be playing with him in his game. And they are just so perfect because they reflect my character so stunningly. And I just got a little bit emotional when I saw that he sent them to me. These are gorgeous. Oh, so Moo, if you're watching this, thank you so much. I can't wait to use them. I know you're probably all thinking, Victoria, what is the next book you want to read? And I'm just staring at it, to be honest. I'm so excited. I'm just going to grab it. So I now really want to move on to Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. I picked this up relatively recently. I think this is in my birthday book haul, and then it's also part of my summer TBR Hopefuls video, if you have seen that as well. This was a pure cover buy for me. This was one of the books that I picked up where I hadn't heard anything about it, never seen it before in my life. I purely picked it up by the cover, and then when I read the back, it just spoke to me. So this sounds so up my street. It's based off of Southeast Asian mythology, I believe. Perfect for the summer because I'm pretty sure there are sirens in this, or mer people. I've definitely read the back of this before, multiple times. In this semi-flooded city, humans are quite literally on top. That's right. So there's a divide between humans and sirens. Yes. The humans are, from what I'm gathering, like the upper class, think the Capital and Hunger Games kind of vibe. And then you've got the sirens, who are the lower class, who live in the polluted waters below, but I think they're called the Fathom Folk. For half siren Mira, promotion to captain of the border guard means an opportunity to help her downtrodden people. But everything Mira has worked towards is put in jeopardy when Nami, a know-it-all water dragon, the Famine Folk royalty, is exiled to the city. When extremists sabotage the annual boat race, violence ensues, as does a clampdown on Fathom Folk rights. So this sounds very political commentary heavy, which is so fine by me. As I said previously when I was talking about the Hurricane Wars, I kind of need that in a fantasy. I need the plot, I need the politics to be top notch. Both Nami and Mira must decide if the cost of change is worth paying or if Tian Kawi should be left to drown. Tian Kawi is the city that the Fathom Folk live in, I believe. But this is a duology. The second book is called Tideborn. The cover, you can see us like at the cover on the back just down there. But again, these covers are gorgeous. There's something about Southeast Asian art. It is just stunning. Oh, the Hurricane Wars. The cover of the Hurricane Wars is beautiful. And the more I stare at it, the more that I see. So, Shelley Parker Chan. I recognise that name, but I'm not too sure why. She said, prepare to be engulfed. Chan has superbly created a world as real and complex as our own, where oppression has no easy solutions and there is no success without sacrifice. Fast-paced action combined with true social depth make this an unforgettable must-read fantasy. Okay, so this is going to be our next read, my next read. I have no idea how quickly I'm going to get through this. It probably won't be included in this vlog because I need to edit this vlog and get it up because I've already missed a week of uploads. But this is our next read. I am trying to embrace what we have left of summer before the autumn kicks in. Now, don't get me wrong. If you watched my previous vlog, we will know that I am ready for autumn. I am going to have a cozy Hobbit girl autumn. Nobody can stop me, but I feel like I will semi-regret it if I just wish the summer away. So I'm going to try and embrace the last bits of summer as much as possible by continuing to read some more summer-driven-esque books. I am still making my way through A Letter to the Luminous Deep. I am further than this now because I've been listening to it on the audiobook. I've kind of stopped reading it physically because I can't lie, I was struggling. I was struggling with this book, but switching to the audiobook has really helped a lot. I am kind of disappointed by this book. I'm not enjoying it as much as I was hoping to be, which is such a shame. That is all of my reading updates for you, and I'm pretty sure that's probably where I'm going to leave off this vlog. So thank you so much for watching this. I feel like this vlog may be a bit jumpy and a bit all over the place, so I do apologise. And I apologise for kind of lack of showing you my reading. I've been doing plenty of reading, I just haven't been showing it. I've really just been allowing myself to enjoy reading and not putting pressure on sharing it, documenting it. Like if I felt like reading, I read. If I wanted to have a bit of a binge reading session, I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. My whole point of the Slow Reader Diaries is to kind of rekindle my love of reading and how I read. Sometimes you just need to read. Like, we need to take the pressure off, especially if you're a bookish content creator. Take the pressure away of having to give consistent updates. Like, I will update you when I can and when I want, but I kind of guess at the end of the day, as long as we're all happy and talking about the books that we're reading and loving, like, does it really matter how/when we do that? Not really. Thank you for watching this vlog. If you've made it this far, comment the dragon emoji, because I feel like I've read some pretty, or I've been talking about some very kind of dragon-esque, Southeast Asian-esque kind of stuff. I have no idea what the next video is going to be. I haven't thought that far, but it will probably be an early autumn themed video, because I know I said I'm trying to not rush, like push summer away, but I am ready for autumn. I am ready for big jumpers, cozy knitted jumpers, getting snugly up under a blanket, candles, the whole kit and caboodle. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what you're currently reading, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!